It's that time of year again when us homeschoolers try to figure out what to teach next year. Well, here's what actually worked for us and what we're leaving behind for next year.
Raising neurodivergent kids is messy, beautiful, and a lot. I'm Mary Ellen Yates, and this is Growing Together Neurodiversity at Home. Let's figure it out together.
Okay, let's get started. I remember when I first started our homeschooling journey around 7 years ago that I thought I would do all this research and I would figure out exactly what curriculum I needed, what style I needed, and everything. And I'd be able to just go with that curriculum the whole time and not switch around. And that it would be the best. And all these people that had these different curriculums and went here and there, they just never did their research. Well, over time, I have definitely learned from that experience, and pretty much every school year, something changes. And so I've learned that I need to be way more flexible and just accept that that's our process and take the good things and then leave the rest behind. So I taught first and fifth grade last year, and I had a tag along 3-year old that's about to be 4 at this point. Picking out a curriculum, there's a couple of things I keep in mind. Usually, I am researching what they need at the time, what's the next step for them. I'm also researching what science has shown or research has shown usually works best. And then I'm also looking at what's realistic with the time constraints that we have. We're probably committed to about 15 hours of therapy time, and that's not including extra appointments each week. I have not a lot of time to also get in their homeschooling. I have to keep that in mind when I'm doing stuff. So while there's a lot of great curriculums out there, I can't do too many that are teacher intensive because I only have so much time and I really have to focus on language arts and math as my priorities. And the other ones I try to use creatively as I can. Okay, so let's talk about the learning profiles for both my kiddos. Now, my first grader that just finished first grade, I'm still learning his learning profile since he's still a young learner. So, part of that is a young learner profile, but then also he has been diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder level 2. He has mild ADHD, he has motor planning difficulties, and I would say he has an aptitude for math. And then I have my fifth grader that he has been diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder level 1 and moderate ADHD. And he also has dyslexia and dyscalculia. And he likes to listen to a lot of things. He likes a lot of audiobooks. He likes a lot of visual stuff. So he likes to look at a lot of pictures. He likes videos. Those are the ways that he tends to like to learn. So he doesn't like to learn a lot through reading it. So reading is mostly for practice at this point. Also, he does best with a multisensory approach. He needs short lessons. When I'm doing lessons, I need to use different parts of the brain to decrease fatigue. So for our homeschool, I combine all the subjects except for language arts and math, which are the skill-based subjects. Those go at their own pace. So for language arts, I used Rooted in Languages pinwheels. And during kindergarten, we had started year 1, and then this year we finished year 1, and then we're halfway through year 2. And I would definitely keep this curriculum. I love it. This is what I started using with my other son as well. And I've seen such progress. I can't say enough great things about it. For math, my first grader is using Math with Confidence, and that is going really well. She emphasizes a lot of mental math, which my son seems to do very well with, and a lot of multisensory activities. There is some teacher involvement, though I haven't found it too strenuous, but I do have a kid that has an aptitude for math. So I feel like we can move through the teacher part pretty quickly. And then it also has workbook pages to go along with it to reinforce the lessons. And I think that's been going really well. Then for my older fifth grader for language arts, we finished year 2 of pinwheels. So year 2 has a level 3 and a level 4. It took about a year for each level for my struggling learner. So he finished that, and then we're into the Rooted in Languages wand, and those seem to be doing well. I love this company. I take a lot of their teacher courses, highly recommend. And then for my fifth grader for math, we've done quite a bit. I made the mistake when I was first teaching him math that because he could do things, I just kept going. Even though I realized that some things were harder, I didn't realize the cognitive mental load that was going along with that. And as we got into later grades, it became too much for him, and I had to rewind a lot. So this year, what we've done for math is we tried CTC Math, which is an online version. We did it for a little while. It looks really great, and I think some people would do really well with this company, but for us, it didn't work. For one, that it was on a tablet. He really needs something that's physical. And for another, the lessons were still just a little too long. I do like how they let you personalize your lessons, and there's a lot that you can do with it. And they did end up giving us a refund for the amount of the year that we hadn't used yet when we asked for the refund. So they will help you out there. So it definitely, you can definitely check them out. And I think it would really work nice for some families. It just didn't work well for us. So after CTC Math, we tried Math UC AIM curriculum for addition and subtraction. And this just focuses on learning addition and subtraction facts to be fluent in those facts. And this worked really well for my fifth grader, and we finished that program. And since we did so well with their curriculum, we went into Matthew C regular curriculum. He did the whole beta book, and then we went into the gamma book. And right now we're in the gamma book and we're in the multiplications. And he was doing well with 0, 1, 2, 5, 9, and 10. He did well with those, but the other ones he was having a harder time with. So we've paused the gamma book, and right now for the summer we're using Kate Snow's Sticky Facts multiplication book. And that has a little game at the beginning, and then you do a worksheet to reinforce your skills. And so we're doing that right now to help him really get his math facts. And then I'm also going to be having a checklist to make sure that he has all the math facts before we move on and go back into the Gamma book of Matthew C. So that's what we did for math. With all of those, I really like Kate Snow, her Math with Confidence, and her Sticky Facts books. And I really like the Matthew C. AIM curriculum, and my son has really been enjoying the regular curriculums too. He really enjoys the enrichment pages, and he seems to do well with that. So we are very happy with our math and language arts. So now let's talk about our other subjects. Let's talk about science. So for science this year, we did Good and the Beautiful because it seems like it's perfect because it's open and go. They're very strong with their visual content. They have beautiful pictures. Their curriculum looks beautiful. And I've tons of friends that use Good and the Beautiful and they love it. For me, I do feel like my kids learned from it and I enjoyed it for the most part, but I felt like there could have been more videos. It was very surface level and I felt bored. And I am one that loves science and I felt bored and just like something I was trying to get through. We did marine biology, kingdoms and classification, and health in the human body, I think is what it's called. And with those, I had a lot of extra stuff that I added in there, a lot of supplementing. So with the marine biology, I found a watercolor book with different marine animals. And so that tied in our art. And then we had some search and find books and we had some DK. We love DK books. So we had a lot of supplementing for our marine biology. And then for kingdoms and classification, we just read the books and we just kind of got through it. There wasn't a lot of supplementing there. And then for our human body one, they had just a couple of videos. I thought they would have more, but I went on YouTube and found videos to supplement each system to give them more information because I felt like it was kind of on the drier side. So I would not go with science with Good and the Beautiful anymore. That's just my feeling on it. I know a lot of people love it. It's just, it didn't work for us as much. But we also supplemented with Magic School Bus and we also supplemented with Cells at Work. If you've never watched the show Cells at Work, it's pretty amazing. It's like anime, and then all the characters are different like parts of the body that's working with like blood and immune system and stuff like that. It's pretty awesome. So that supplemented very well with our human body, and our kids learned a lot. I think it's called Paper Pie now. It used to be Usborne. They have some project type things that you can buy that's not just books. And one of them is this little squishy body human. And so I had gotten that too. And so then the kids were able, it's like really tiny, and the kids were able to take it apart and look at the different organs, and they enjoyed that as well. Okay, next history. So for history, we used Mystery of History. The reason I chose it was because it has a textbook and it has an audio version. In the past, I've used Good Feet and other curriculums. And while I love Good Feet and I love the literary approach with reading all the books, I just felt like it was too teacher intensive with having a young learner and also one that struggles and is not reading independently yet. So I went with an audio version this year to help us. We listened to the audio version in the car while we were driving to appointments. And then when we would come home during lunchtime, I would supplement with YouTube videos that was about their topic. And then they would do a journal entry about something they had learned on that day. So for Mystery of History, I really liked the woman's voice, the author's voice, and I liked the narration, but I felt like the subject was very, very broad, and I felt like it was hard for my kiddos to bring it together to figure out what to journal about. I felt like it was a little above their head, especially for my first grader. So the supplemented videos helped, and that's what I would usually have him do before I would require him to do his journal entry. And for my first grader, the journal entry was drawing a picture and either labeling it or writing a sentence. And then for my older one, he was doing the same thing, but he had to have more detailed sentences with his. Also, Mystery of History came with a timeline and some maps. I felt like the maps were too hard for me to figure it out. I don't have a lot of time, and it was just extra pieces that I couldn't get to. And then with the timeline, they give you tons and tons of pictures to add to this huge timeline that you can put in a binder. And I thought it was great, but there was just so many pictures that I wouldn't even remember half of the pictures that we had even read. And so I just felt like it was too much and focused and smaller timeline with less things would have been easier for us. So we started off strong at the beginning of the year doing the timeline, but then it just became one more thing and a lot, and we kind of like lost track of where we were, and it became too much to continue. So but I did like the audio parts, and we did like the books and the pictures in the book, so we enjoyed it, but we're going to try a different curriculum next time that's also audio. Stay tuned for further videos, see what we pick for that. So occasionally, if I could fit it in, I also added in some geography. Now, when I'm reading books with the kids and when I'm talking about things in history, I'll show them the map. So it's not that we're not doing any geography, but we didn't do a lot this year because I thought I was going to be using the Mystery of History, but just became too much. So for geography, I have Good Feet geography, and we did Egypt to go along with all of our ancient civilizations that we worked on, and we learned about India this year. And I like the Good Feet curriculum. They have a teacher's guide that gives you a lot of ideas of what to talk about, and then it gives you book suggestions to incorporate into the study, and you learn about one country at a time. And my kids really enjoy them, and I do too. I don't do all of the suggestions that they recommend, but I think that it's a great curriculum, especially if you have time and you want hands-on books and to do history with a lot of literature, history, and just a little too teacher intensive right now since we're on the road so much. Okay, let's talk about art. I got a book from Amazon that had different marine creatures that was drawn in, and then they could color it on watercolor paper. And different sections of the book has different techniques to work on the different animals. They weren't really interested in the different techniques. I don't think they really understood the difference between the different techniques, but they really enjoyed being able to color in the different water creatures. So I would say this book was a win for our marine biology unit and also for just art in general. For drawing, especially for my second son. He likes to draw a lot, and his favorites are Art Hub and Artland for learning to draw new things. He tends to like to draw creatures, a lot of animals or aggressive animals or dinosaurs or battles between animals. So, but my other son has used Art Hub in the past too and really liked it as well. So we definitely recommend that for a drawing video. I would like to find something that goes into more of the basics, especially for my second son, because he definitely has an aptitude for drawing. For a handicraft, we go to Lowe's and Home Depot once a month and do their kid workshop activities. It gives them a lot of skills in learning how to hammer and put a project together. So that's what we use for a handicraft right now. It's something that's scheduled for a certain amount of time and we leave with our project done. Works well for our family right now. My husband goes too. So it's a family affair. Okay, so those are what have worked and not worked this year for us. I'll be creating another video sharing what we are going to be doing for next year once I have all that put together. I hope this helps give you an idea. Sometimes just going through curriculum, it's hard to understand what's going to work well for your family. Also, I want to mention that it's really not about the perfect curriculum. It's that our kids are continuing to grow. And sometimes a curriculum is perfect for that stage, and then you have to move on to something else. What has worked or not worked for your homeschool? I look forward to seeing the comments below to give me some ideas myself. Thanks. And remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll talk to you next time.